That's so loud. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live here on a Monday. Today's Monday. Football was yesterday.
Monday.
It's a Monday. Okay, today on a Monday. Hope everybody's weeks are off to a good start. Today we're going to discuss the Jerami Grant trade rumors that, resurfaced again. They've been ongoing for a good part of a year now, and the Blazers have been tied to him once again. We'll discuss the possibility of getting him once again. We'll also discuss maybe a couple other trade things, and we'll start things off with picks against the spread. If you hear a little background noise, my apologies. Can't really control that. I accidentally unmuted Eric on our intro screen. He said, "That's so loud." He was talking about the background noise. So hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's okay. But I can't really control that. Anyway, what's going on, Eric? How is your Monday?
Oh, it's going pretty good. How about yours?
It's going phenomenal. We got 7 games for picks against the spread I'm looking forward to. We're just going to hop straight into things here with the picks against the spread standings. And starting off once again, Jackson needs to chill a little bit because he's too good at this. Goes 5-0 on last Thursday. He's the only one to go 5-0. This was the second time this season where me and Jackson were undefeated going into the last game and had a different pick, and he got lucky at the end and won out. So he gained a game on me, unfortunately, instead of me gaining a game on him. I am now 6 back of him. Next is Chat in third at 15 games back, which is quite a spread. Now, it's still early on in the season. We're not even halfway yet, so still some time to make up ground. I wouldn't say anybody is out of it yet, but Jackson has definitely put a big lead on the field. Reese is at 4th. Trevin and Zach are tied at 5th. All 3 of those guys were tied last week. Reese goes 4-1. They go 3-2. Eric, 2-3, is in 7th. And then Krish, 79 and 114, 1-4 on Monday, 33 games back at Jackson. Krish just has tanked the first half of this year so he could set up a phenomenal comeback story, and I'm looking forward to seeing that play out because he's going to start a roll today. I'm just trying to bring Krish up, man. He's really been struggling. Anyway, any thoughts on the standings, Eric?
No, just got hosed with my double down. Otherwise, it would have been a good day for me last week. But yeah.
Yeah, dude, the double downs have not been good.
Yeah,
the double downs have not been good for us.
Yeah, I was getting closer to 500. That's all I care about right now is just getting back to 500. So hopefully these 8 games today, or 7 games, 8 points towards the standings will help me out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If Jackson slips and you have a good day, I mean, you can gain your 21 gives back. You can cut that by like a quarter or a fifth, you know? It's not going to happen in one day, but you can definitely whittle away at that to defend your championship. Anyway, game number 1. Actually, before we jump into the shout out to Sherwin Ignacio for a $50 dono, which is probably a record on our second channel. Shout out to Sherwin. He says, sorry, haven't been active lately, but hope y'all are having a good 2022. Keep up the good work, fellas. Hashtag Nas is free. And Nas is definitely free. Appreciate you, Sherwin, man. That's a huge dono, and I appreciate the support that you're giving for the channel.
In case you didn't know, that's Wheezy.
Oh, is that Wheezy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I did not... It makes sense now. Sherwin, Sherweezy. He's Sir Weezy on Twitter. Okay, that makes sense. I did not know that. So appreciate you, Sherwin, with that dono. Meanwhile, Madden Mobile's in Vancouver and telling me to come see him, and I'm kind of scared. So let's just hop into picks again. I'm just kidding. Madden Mobile, let's hop into picks against the spread. We got the Bucks taking on the Charlotte Hornets, and the Bucks are a 3-point road favorite. Eric, what is the situation for this one?
So the Bucks are without Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, George Hill, and Brooke Lopez. The Hornets are without Vernon Carey and Kelly Oubre. Starting lineups for the Bucks: Giannis, Wes Matthews, Jordan Nwora, Middleton, and Bobby Portis. The Hornets have their, I think, pretty typical starting lineup when they're healthy: Ball, Rozier, Hayward, Bridges, Plumlee.
I forgot how to type. There's the chat poll. That took way too long for me to type. I'm not proud of myself there. Alrighty. The Hornets have been like an up and down team all season long. They've been kind of hard to figure out. The Bucks went on a run, but have struggled a little bit lately.
Mm-hmm.
You said, yeah, they're without Drew.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah.
I'm going to take the Bucks anyway.
All right. Eric's going Bucks. Oh, I needed to make the... I'll just do it that way. I put the Bucks as the home team even though they're on the road. So that's going to mess with me. I think I'm going to go Bucks as well. Oh, wait. That's good. I'm just going to change it because that's going to mess with me for every single one.
Jackson is going Bucks.
Okay.
Trevin.
Jordan Nwora starting. Gotta go Bucks, says Trevin. Trevin's going with the Bucks. Waiting on Zach, Reese, Krish, and Chat. Krish is going Hornets. No surprise there. Only way to make up ground, though, at this point is to go against the grain. Zach is going Bucks. And I don't know if Reese is here. If he's not here, then we'll pick somebody in chat to make his picks for him. Right now, we have a close vote, Eric. It was 50-50. It's now 53% for the Milwaukee Bucks. So this is looking like a chat island. First game's at 4. It's 353. So probably after we pick all our games, before we pick double downs. If Reese is not here, we will pick somebody from chat to pick for him. He didn't send in his pick. So, all right, game number 2. You got, I almost said Memphis versus Detroit, which was the last game. It's Detroit versus Utah. Utah is an 11-point road favorite going into Detroit. Eric, what is the situation?
So Utah's without Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles, Rudy Gay, Elijah Hughes, Jared Butler, and Malik Fitz. Pistons are without Olenek, the aforementioned Jerami Grant, and Frank Jackson. Starting lineups have been announced: Conley, Mitchell, O'Neal, Whiteside, and just confirm this starting lineup. Bogdanovich is the other one. But Whiteside starting for Gobert, and then Pistons have Hayes, Cade, Diallo, Bay, and Stewart starting.
All right, there's your chat poll chat. This is... No, Domantas Sabonis dropped 42 and the Pacers beat the Jazz without Gobert. I think that was last night, so the Pistons don't have a big like that, though.
That was a few nights ago, but yeah.
Was that a few nights ago? Why did I think that was last night? I don't know, man. Jackson says Bull playing. No, probably not. The trade was yesterday. Am I completely losing track of time? The trade was yesterday, right?
I think that trade was yesterday. But yeah, I don't think he's cleared a physical yet.
I saw somebody say this is the big swings that the Blazers need to be taking. Go out and get Bull. That's a big swing, apparently. I don't agree with that, but I guess... I don't know. Maybe he shows out for the Pistons. It'll be interesting, but I have never really believed in him as much as other people have. Trevin goes Pistons.
Yeah.
Krish is going Pistons. Zach is going Jazz.
This one's tough. Screw it. I'll go Pistons.
Eric's going Pistons. I don't like this game, man. I don't like the spread. I'm not confident in the spreads today. I'll just say that. Jackson, what are you going with, Mr. Research? Right now, you got Jazz at 58% for chat. I will wait until Jackson's picking. Jackson says Pistons won their last game. I gotta go with the Jazz. All right, I am going to go. They got Clarkson off the bench. I don't know if that's a good thing, though. I'm gonna go Pistons. Jackson's going Pistons. This might be an island for Zach on the Jazz, surprisingly. Which isn't a bad island by any means. Oh, no, it's not an island because chat's going Jazz as well. What am I talking about? All right, there we go. We got Zach.
Jackson went Jazz, not Pistons.
Oh, did he? Okay. Jackson, Pistons. All right, so not even close to an island, Zach.
So now you're going to change your pick?
No. Absolutely not. I'm not trying to align myself with Jackson. How would I ever gain on him,
I'm just joking.
Yeah. All right, next up we got Pacers. We got Celtics. Celtics are an 8.5-point favorite.
So the Pacers are without Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Duarte, TJ Warren, TJ McConnell, Goga Batadze. Looks like Karis LeVert, Justin Anderson as well. So a lot of people out for the Pacers. For the Celtics, they are only missing Peyton Pritchard, it looks like, from this game.
Okay, can you say the notable Pacers again?
Brogdon, Duarte, LeVert, looks like, are out.
Okay.
I haven't seen full confirmation on the LeVert, but I think it was in the protocols.
So they got Turner, they got Sabonis. Boston's been struggling. Who they got at guard then? They got Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, O'Shea Brissett. Who's their point guard? Because they don't got McConnell either.
Those are more forwards.
Who's their... Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, wings. I said guards, and then I started thinking of wings. I don't know, man. I don't know who their point guard is. Jackson's going Boston. Not knowing who Indiana's point guard is, and Robert Williams, I think, can guard Sabonis just fine. And Horford, I actually think, is a good matchup for Miles Turner. I'm going to take Boston as well as Jackson.
They got Kiefer Sykes and Dwayne Washington Jr.
Oh, God, I hate Dwayne Washington. Or I don't hate Dwayne Washington Jr., I just think he's Not
Oh,
good.
Lance Stevenson, right.
Oh, it's
I
oh
got
duh.
born ready.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have picked Celtics, man. I forgot that dude's been hooping. What are you going with, Eric?
I'm actually going to take the points and go Pacers.
All right. Krish is going Boston. Waiting on Zach. Still don't see Reese. And then chat. Zach says Lance is going to go off, so he's going with the Pacers. And then we're going to end chat poll. Chat's also going Pacers at 60%. So a pretty split vote here. Next up, we got Knicks taking on the Spurs. All right, the Spurs are tied with the Blazers for 10th in the Western Conference. The Knicks are a 6-point home favorite.
So the Spurs are without Zach Collins, Keldon Johnson, Derek White, Devin Vassell, Doug McDermott, Trey Jones, and Thad Young. Oh, and Jock Landale. The Knicks are without Derrick Rose, Nerlens Noel, and Kemba Walker.
I was hoping this was going to be a healthy Spurs team because I would have went Spurs, but yikes. I don't even know who they have.
Well, they got DeJounte and Pirtle.
Yeah, DeJounte's going to have to carry.
They got Primo, too.
Who'd you say?
Josh Primo.
Oh, good old Josh Primo. He's been playing lately. How's he been doing?
I don't really know, actually.
I've just seen tweets like, Josh Primo time, but then I never see how he's actually playing. But...
Trevin and Krish are going Knicks. Zach is going Spurs.
All right, Zach Spurs, Trevin Krish, Knicks.
I'm going to take the Knicks as well.
Eric's going Knicks. Jackson's going to go with his team, the Spurs, right? All right, Jackson. I'm going to make my pick right after Jackson. I already know what team I'm going with, though. God, dude, this dude legitimately does research. You see how long he's taking?
That's kind of ridiculous.
Looking at something. All right, you have 5 seconds before I flip a coin, Jackson. This guy, man. I'm going
Come
Knicks.
on, man. All right.
All right, 5. I gotta count down from 5 like a parrot. 5, 4, 3, 2. There you go, Spurs. You're
Spurs,
lucky.
of course. Like, you couldn't have just said that 5 minutes ago.
Of course, like it wasn't close. Like, why'd you have to look at something then if it was obvious? I don't. This guy Jackson, man. All right, we're gonna end the chat poll. It's Knicks for chat. I think that's their highest percentage so far. Won't be able to do a double down poll because there's more than 4 games. So Zach and Jackson alone with the Spurs. All right, game number 5. You got the Rockets taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia is a 10-point road favorite.
So for the 76ers, they're without Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and then it looked like Springer, Maxey, Milton, and Reed were all questionable. For the Rockets, they're without John Wall, Şengün, Eric Gordon, Armani Brooks, and Trevelyan Queen.
Who has the best name in the league? Alright, there's your chat poll chat. I am going with the 76ers.
I'm going to take the points and take the Rockets.
Alright, Eric's going Rockets.
Chris is going Philly. Jackson's going Philly.
Jackson's copying. Cool. Doesn't want to lose his lead. Chris, Sixers.
Purple Haze is going Sizers.
Sizers? I looked at chat a second after you said that. When you said that, I had Purple Haze is going Sizers. What a sentence. With double down polls, you can choose the top 4 teams that got the highest percentage to include in the poll. I mean, I could do that, but it's just, if we're going to do it that way, might as well just do it off of highest percentage. Because it is some work to put it in the poll. It's just easy when like every team can be an option. Rockets for Zach, Sixers for Trevin. So Zach is rolling with Eric. Sixers for Trevin. We'll go back through and pick for Reese. Sixers are at 74% because it's 406. So Sixers 74%. All right, 2 more games left. We got the Kings taking on the Cavs. Cavs are a 5.5 road favorite. Eric.
So both these teams played last night, and the Cavs are still without a Carl Rubio Sexton, but it looks like Garland's going to play. Damian Jones is out for the Kings. Rashawn Holmes did not play last night, so I don't expect him to play tonight. Same with Mo Harkless as well for the Kings.
Okay, interesting.
But those guys are currently listed as questionable, so.
Both teams on a back-to-back, by the way.
Yeah.
The Cavs, of course, played the Warriors last night, got blown out. All right, there's the chat poll. I'm going Cavs.
I'm also going to go Cavs. Jackson went Cavs as well. Don't let me down, Cavs.
I'm debating this being my double down, but the Cavs have not been playing well. But the Kings suck. I mean, we blew out the Kings, so they must suck, you know? They must be real bad. Zach says never go against Mobley. I don't want to assume he's going Cavs there, though. Zach's going Cavs. Trevin, Cavs. I already know. Yeah, Chris. Oh, he already voted for the Kings. I was going to say Chris is going to go for the Kings. This isn't a bad island, though. Cleveland's been struggling. We're going to end the chat poll. Chat, oh my goodness, this is going to be their double down. And every time I double down with chat, it always ends up being a bad double down. So I am now second-guessing this potential double down. Anyway, that's game number 6. Final game is your Portland Trailblazers taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn is an 8.5-point road favorite. They played in Brooklyn last night, by the way, flying across country to Portland to play today.
Yep, and Joe Harris, LaMarcus Aldridge ruled out earlier in the day, or of course Joe Harris has been out for a while, and James Harden has also been ruled out with a hyperextended knee. We thought we were going to see all their big 3, but Harden will not play. And then for the Blazers, we are without Dame, CJ, Norm, and Nance, so 4 of our top 8 players.
This is actually tough because of the travel.
Mm-hmm. I'm still going to take the Nets because I don't think we have anyone that can stop Durant. So
Yeah.
unless Trendon Watford plays 30 minutes, but he'll probably only play like 10.
Bro, I
So.
want to see Watford guard KD. I'm just gonna go Nets, dude. I am not gonna buy into last night's win over the Sacramento Kings, but this is definitely hard. Chris says, Blazers all day, easy money, let's get it, Rip City, 100 emojis, fire, devil emojis, eyeballs, face exhaling emojis, kittens, starstruck emojis, and partying faces. All right, that's what Chris is going with, Eric. Blazers cover says Jackson. Jackson's going with the Blazers. Rooting for hashtag tank season. Actually, it wouldn't be the... What's the phrase when it's the underdog? Isn't it only like the favorite can cover the spread? How does it work?
No, covering can work either way.
Okay. Zach's going Nets. KD and Ant combining for 90, but KD comes out top. Nets by 37. Waiting on...
Sherwin says Watford and Nas locking up KD.
Waiting on Trevin and waiting on
Trevin took Nets.
All right, Trevin took Nets and Chat took Nets. Jackson is with Krish. It's first and last place, teaming up together. All right, so now we got have somebody pick for Reese. I'm gonna have Connor pick for Reese. So Connor, I don't know if you've been watching the stream and know the situations with these, but we're gonna go with Connor for this one.
Chat's double down was by far the Cavaliers.
All right. Here are the spreads. Let me know if you need me to go through the injuries again. Connor says he needs injury list. Drew Holiday not playing in this one. I'll just say the notable players. The notable players are good enough. Drew Holiday not playing in this one. What are the other notable players for this one, Eric?
Oubre for the Hornets. George Hill, Grayson Allen, Brook Lopez.
Okay. For that one, go ahead and make your pick for that one. For this one, Rudy Gobert's out. Rudy Gay's out. Who else was out? That was notable?
Ingles, Rudy Gay, Olenek Grant for Pistons.
All right. Make your pick for that one. For this one, we got Malcolm Brogdon out. Chris Duarte out. Karis LeVert out. And then for the Celtics, only Peyton Pritchard is out. Game number 4, we got the Knicks taking on the Spurs. The Knicks have... Who out?
Kemba, Nerlens Noel, Derrick Rose.
Okay, and then the Spurs don't have McDermott, Zach Collins...
Keldon Johnson, Derek White, Devin Vassell, Thad Young.
All right, and then game number 5. I hope he's putting his picks in chat right now. We got the Sixers favored by 10. The Rockets are without Sengun, Eric Gordon. Who else, Eric?
John Wall,
of course. And then the Sixers are without
Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and possibly Maxey Milton as well.
Cool. All right, that's game number 5. Game number 6. The Kings don't have Rashawn Holmes. They're also missing... I don't know. I'm not remembering these too well. They're missing Rashawn Holmes and...
That's pretty much it.
The Cavs are missing Sexton, of course. And who else, Eric?
Okoro Rubio.
All right. And then game number 7, Nets missing Harden, Joe Harris, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blazers missing Norm, Nance, CJ, and Dame. All right, so Connor's going with the Hornets.
Yeah, I got it.
Can you read them off to me? For game number 2, Pistons, Jazz.
Jazz.
With Jazz.
Then Pacers.
All right, Jazz. Pacers for number 3, which makes this a split vote.
Spurs.
Is he just going with the road teams? Game number
No.
5. Well, I guess the first game he went Hornets. Game number 5.
Rockets.
Rockets. All right, that's almost a split vote. Game number 6.
Cavs.
Cavs. And then game number 7.
He's gone Blazers.
Ballsy pick for the Blazers. All right, time for double downs.
It was.
It was. Well, maybe it'll help him. We got the Cavaliers for chat. Every time I team up with chat, it goes bad. But that was the pick I was most confident in. So it's gonna be a struggle. I don't know, man. Could go Bucks.
I'm gonna take the Pacers. I have no idea why, but
Okay, Eric's going Pacers. I'm most confident in the Cavs, you know? I think I gotta go Cavs. I think I just have to do it. Sorry, chat. We're going down together. But I gotta go Cavs. Alright, let me see what else we got. We got Bucks for Trevin. Good job, Eric.
I let the first one go, but he kept saying shit. So
Yeah. Anyway. Come on, mods. Where are your double downs at?
let's go.
Let's go. We're waiting on Zach. We're waiting on Connor. Connor, it's not your fault, bro. It's not your fault. That went quick. That took 2 minutes. Connor's going with the Pacers as well.
Earth to Zach and Jackson and Chris.
Did they just leave and forget about the... You know my pick. Bro, we ain't playing that, Jazz. And just...
Come on.
Oh, he's going with the Spurs. All right. And if he says something else, then no, I'm not even... I'm just going to make it the Spurs for him. Zach says, oh, bleep, we have to double down still. Yeah. Zach, you've been doing this since the beginning, my guy. Well, year 1, we did just me, you, and chat, Eric, but Zach's been doing this for a year and a half now. He's fine with the... Okay, Zach's joining us, chat. He's going with the Cavs. And then we're waiting on Krish. Oh, he says, I'm going to go play basketball outside before it gets dark. My double down is the Kings. I did not see that and all that. Okay, cool. Krish is going with the Kings. He voted early. All right.
He's going against 3.
Is he? Oh, yeah, he's going against the Cavs. All right. So that is picks against the spread. Thank you for participating. Good luck to everybody except Jackson because we need to catch up to him. And with that, let's just segue into talking about Jerami Grant. All right. So it was reported today that the Lakers, Blazers, Wizards, and Knicks have interest in trading for Jerami Grant. I did not see the entire report. I just saw that blurb, but from what I saw of the report is it wasn't too substantial. It just listed those 4 teams. Was there anything more to it, Eric? Do you know?
No, it's just still speculation that he's going to be by far the most coveted piece outside of if Ben Simmons gets made more available than he already is. But we're also listed as a team that is still interested in Ben as well.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing with the Blazers struggling as much as they are. If it's true that they're trying to go out and get Jerami Grant, then that kind of worries me because it says to me that they want to still try and win this year. right? Because Jerami Grant isn't that. I mean, like, he's pretty much in his prime. Let me see what his age is. Jerami Grant's age. He's 27. Okay. How many years does he have left on his contract?
I think next year.
And then he could leave, right? So if he doesn't want to play in Portland after next season, he could be out. There's rumors that he, and you've talked about this, Eric, that he doesn't want to get traded from Detroit. He wants to be the number one option. And he turned down Denver for the same contract in Detroit. And that shows that he wants to be the number one option on a bad team instead of playing for a winning team. Because the Nuggets were just off the Western Conference Finals in the bubble. So, for all those reasons, when I see that we are interested in Jerami Grant, it makes me cringe a little bit.
I've also heard that this summer he's going to demand an Aaron Gordon type contract, like $26 million a year or something, extension wise.
He doesn't. We'd have to go all in on him. Okay, like asset wise, there's not a lot of players available, so some team is going to overpay for Jerami Grant. I don't want that team to be us, because if we overpay for Jerami Grant, we're basically going all in. Like, we don't have a ton of assets, so if we spend more on Jerami Grant, then we better think that Jerami Grant can get us to contention. But here's the problem. Jerami Grant does not get us to contention. Okay? I don't want to spend all our assets to go out and acquire a player that doesn't get us maybe even close to contention. Mm-hmm. And that's what a Jerami Grant trade would be. I know he's an upgrade, makes the team better, all that type of stuff, but he doesn't make the team better enough for what he'd cost. So for that reason, I do not want Jerami Grant to be traded to the Portland Trailblazers. I do not want a Jerami Grant trade whatsoever at this point. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I agree. If you could get him for relatively cheap, for expiring contracts and maybe a pick or something, I'd probably consider it. But yeah, I mean, we're talking probably multiple firsts and maybe Nas, finding teams to take Covington and Nurkic and stuff like that, because I'm sure they don't want him. I mean, if it was like a Norm for Jerami Grant type swap or something like that, sure, maybe I'd be okay with that, just getting a little more size and switching it out. And also, Jerami Grant's out from anywhere from like 1 to 3 more weeks still, so I guess that kind of helps our tank. But yeah, in short of a trade kind of like that, I don't really want to give up a ton of assets to get him.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many players that I think a lot of Blazer fans want that don't really accomplish enough. I've seen Blazer fans campaigning for Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. One of them was Rip City Project, and that's fine if you want those guys. I just don't understand the logic to that, and I saw a lot of fans agree that they want those guys. And for a Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. type of trade, how does that help us with our issues? Our issues have been not being bought in defensively, not playing with enough energy. These guys just basically quit on their team, and one of them got basically almost in a fight with his coach and then left the arena at halftime. How would getting Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. solve our issues of lack of energy and a lack of commitment to the defensive end? If anything, that'd be doubling down on those issues. Getting a Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. doesn't accomplish a single thing, right? Sure, you maybe get more raw talent, but I don't think it's not an issue with raw talent on this team, especially offensively. We have a fine roster in terms of offensive talent. Our defense sucks. So neither of those guys are good defenders. Neither of them really help us on that end, and they have some issues. So I don't understand trades like that, and then trades like Jerami Grant where we have to go all in for a guy like him, and we're still going to be a middle of the pack playoff team at best.
Yeah, and so Mute Bozo says, is there a single player that would fix all our problems out there? I think the franchise needs to do more than that. And, well, I'll just put it this way. Ben Simmons has a chance more so than Jeremy Grant, or there are certain players, like if you get a Jaylen Brown or, one of those guys. I mean, I don't want to trade for Sabonis, but I put him, I think he would be more of a difference maker than a Jeremy Grant would, even though Jeremy Grant's probably better on defense. It's just like there's players that, I mean, you're basically overpaying for another role player. You're not getting.
Yep.
He's not an all-star. I mean, I guess you could say he was close last year, maybe, but.
I mean, it's good stats on a bad team, though.
Right. Yeah, he put up good stats on a bad team. This was pre-Cade Cunningham too, so he was like their only decent player pretty much all last year outside of rookies. And it's just there's no real. I don't see the upside for spending assets to get him, whereas all the other routes we've talked about, tanking, getting a high draft pick, trading for younger players that still have potential to pop. I think those avenues, yes, they might not be as low or as high of a floor as you would with Jeremy Grant, but that floor isn't getting you a championship, I don't think. So I don't like wasting those assets to go there. And for the people who say like, oh, well, Jeremy Grant's from here or whatever, he lived here like 2 months before we traded his dad, and he left the city. And I have no idea how Harvey Grant thinks of this city still, or if he's fond of his time here or not. But I do know that Jeremy Grant has not wanted to play here, as he has not wanted to play in many cities. He was not happy in Denver. He was not happy in OKC. So this is a guy who I don't think has any kind of nostalgia or anything for coming back here to a place where he grew up, where he didn't even really grow up here.
Yeah, it's just funny because for years it's O'Shea needs to get Dame another All-Star, and now it's some of the same people are saying that Cronin needs to do whatever it takes to make a big swing and get Jeremy Grant
and sign DeMarcus Cousins.
and sign DeMarcus. Yeah, I mean, it's just I understand wanting changes with the roster, right? I understand where it comes from, where you just want something new and we'll just be down for whatever. I understand that. So it's not meant to be like an attack on people who, want those guys or whatever. Like, I understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't add up. It's Jeremy Grant. We're still going to be a bottom 5 defensive team with Jeremy Grant. He's not going to come in here and even come close to fixing our defense. Ben Simmons is far better defensively than Jeremy Grant, right? So that's why I'd be down with Ben Simmons, and he's younger. It's just a situation where like I don't understand fans who want to settle for adding role players or glorified role players to this team this season when it's like it's not going to get us good enough to contend, and it's going to make it so that we're not bad enough to get a top draft pick, so maybe we could draft somebody who helps us become good enough to contend in the coming seasons. Mm-hmm. It's like we got to go one way or the other. I'm cool with the roster getting better this year if it gets so drastically better that maybe it's a chance that we could contend, this year or next, right? So if you could go out and get a Pascal Siakam and just add him to this team, I think he would transform this team. I still think you maybe got to fix the guard problems, but maybe that's part of getting a Pascal Siakam. The thing is, you'd need a follow-up move after that, but I think you could hopefully still have enough assets left over after a Pascal Siakam trade to make that happen. It's almost like Jeremy Grant might have a little bit more trade value than Pascal Siakam. That's probably not the case, but if you're going to give up real legitimate assets, if you're going to give up multiple first-round picks, you got to get a guy who's established on a good team. You can't get a dude who's just been a role player on a good team and a good player, 20-point per game scorer on a bad team, because we see those 20-point per game scores on bad teams go to a good team and they're, a 14-point per game guy. Right? They're nothing special. They're a good role player, but they're not a guy that you should give up 3 first-round picks for. So,
or be like he's back in OKC or
yeah, I mean the dude
Denver,
averaged 12. Yeah, the dude averaged 12 points per game in OKC and played solid defense. I think he's become a little bit overrated defensively. But 12 points per game with solid defense. The year before, 13.5 points per game. No, it was 12 points per game in Denver,
Mm-hmm.
his one season there, and 13.5 points per game in OKC,
And
the
like
season prior to
Denver had a trade exception for, I think he was making like 7 million at the time, and got him for like a protected first round pick. It's like
That's his value.
that's fine, right? But not like multiple young players and multiple picks or whatever it's going to take to get him in this situation. I don't like that at all.
Yep. So I'm not on board the Jeremy Grant train.
One interesting part of that article, which I am on board with, is the Cavs are looking for a scoring guard, and they have they're trying to use Rubio's expiring contract and draft picks to acquire that player. So if they want to be dumb and give us a couple firsts for like Norm, I would be totally on board with that.
Yeah, see, like, that's the thing. Norm for Grant, because I'd be okay with that. If you could get Jeremy Grant for an expiring contract and 2 firsts, then it's a situation where maybe that's 3-team trade. Norm goes to Cleveland. Cleveland sends 2 firsts and Ricky Rubio to Detroit.
Yeah.
And then Detroit sends Jeremy Grant to us. I think we'd have to add like another small salary piece, a minimum contract guy to make that work. But, that sort of deal, okay, fine, because it's Norm for Jeremy Grant straight up, basically. Anything more than that is a no-go. And Jeremy Grant, it sounds like, is 2 first-round picks is not enough for Jeremy Grant. So it's a situation where I'd rather just trade Norm for Cleveland's first and then just wait until the offseason. Because it's supposedly a seller's market, this trade deadline, which means that there's a lot of buyers and not many sellers, which means the pieces that are available, their price is going to get inflated. So it's a situation where maybe in a normal trade deadline year, Jeremy Grant is worth 2 first-round picks, but this year he's worth 3 first-round picks. You know what I'm saying? So it's a situation where if you can get first from Cleveland, you can just wait until the offseason. You can still trade those first. And you will probably have more options available. And you can probably have a little bit more buying power with those firsts. Right? Because it's not, hopefully it won't be as much of a seller's market if we're trying to buy this offseason. So for all those reasons, like if that trade came up, I still would, wouldn't really count on being able to flip 2 firsts and Rubio from Cleveland to Detroit for Jeremy Grant. And I don't know if I still am on the fence about that, even, straight up. If it ends up being Norm for Grant straight up, I'm still on the fence about that, man. But that's the thing. In a seller's market, it makes sense to sell. It makes less sense to buy. So if we could do that trade with Cleveland, we got to do that in a heartbeat, in my opinion, and just keep the picks.
Damani asks why we're so on board with trading Norm instead of CJ. That is not the case at all. We are in favor of trading both of them, actually.
Yes.
We're ready. Yeah. We're ready for both of them. I want Ant to get all the minutes this year. I want the path to him to succeed cleared, and I think he's ready to step up. And part of it is Norm has an easier contract to trade to a team like Cleveland without having to take on Kevin Love's contract for next year. I guess if they wanted to, they could get pretty close with Rubio and Jetty Osman and like 2 firsts for CJ. I guess I would consider that, but we're not necessarily saying trade Norm over CJ. We're just Norm makes half as much as him this year, so it's a little easier to make things work that way.
Yep. Norm's just been disappointing defensively, and there was a stat, I forget what advanced stat it was, that came out today, I think, and all 4 of the Blazers guards, if I recall correctly, were bottom 10 in that defensive advanced stat, which I don't like defensive advanced stats. They're very messy, but Norm has not been good defensively. Norm has just not been a good defensive player. Damani says, why not keep Norm for that very same reason, though?
So, I think, I want to speak for you, Tori, but I think we're both on the page of we want to rework this whole roster around Norm or around Dame, and I think Ant can be a part of that future. I'm not so sure on Norm and CJ, and so I think having those guys on the team kind of dooms us to try and make 3-guard rotations work and all that kind of stuff. And as much as we thought it could work out, it just hasn't. And I think we need to rework the roster around Dame and just take some chances that way. Get as many assets for those guys as we can. This is kind of a 1-year opportunity with Dame possibly being out for the year from this point forward. So, and then, so it's a case of tank the rest of this year, acquire as many assets as possible, and then this offseason you might have the cap space to trade for whatever star you want, along with 4 or 5 firsts that you pick up in those kind of trades, if you trade them for expiring contracts like the trade I mentioned. So that's kind of our thinking. It's not necessarily that Norm can't be a part of this team moving forward. I just think when you look at how he's been on the defensive end, he's contributing to the problem, not helping it, and he was supposed to be a helper, not someone that was making the offense or the defense worse. And same with like a guy like Robert Covington. I'm just fed up with on his laziness on defense sometimes, and so I'd rather just rework the roster and get different types of players around Dame to see if that can unlock something.
Yeah. I mean, Norm's been lazy defensively. Just to put it bluntly, he's been lazy defensively, and he wasn't supposed to be that type of guy. And I want guys on this roster that set the tone defensively, don't just kind of conform to the rest of the guys on this team. Because when we first got Norm, he played with good energy, and he played good defensively. And I said, when we got Norm, if you see his energy decline and you see him decline on the defensive end, that's how you know that it's a cultural problem defensively with this organization, right? Because we saw Gary Trent Jr., after busting his butt in the bubble and playing some really good defense, play below average defense before we traded him to Toronto last season. We bring in a guy who plays good defense, and then he regresses on that end. And Gary Trent Jr., we send him to Toronto, and he all of a sudden starts playing a lot harder. That shows you that there's a bigger problem, and the only way you fix that problem is by getting guys who set the tone defensively. And the appeal of Norm has been, he's a good defender, good 3-and-D guy at the 2 spot that can guard 1s and 2s and some 3s, and can shoot the 3 ball, do a little bit off the dribble, that type of thing. And that's the type of player that makes a lot of sense next to Dame. But when that player stops playing defense and starts being lazy and starts struggling on that end, then he's no longer the solution. If Norm isn't going to play good defense, I would rather just have Anthony next to him, because Anthony's a better offensive player. That's kind of where I'm at right now with Norm. Anthony's
Norm
not
could
like
be
a perfect fit.
On offense too, but
yeah, I just think Anthony's a much more dynamic player offensively, and I don't know. I trust Ant's a better passer. Ant's, I think, getting to the point where he's better attacking the rim, maybe. The thing is Norm can attack the rim and finish, but if he's not able to get to the rim and finish, it doesn't lead to anything good. He's not the type to make a good kick out pass. He kind of will drive until he gets stuck and then try and force a pass. I think Anthony's a better pick and roll player. I like Anthony more offensively. You see what Anthony's doing right now, and maybe that's not sustainable, but just what I've seen from him when he's gotten starters minutes the past few games, I trust more in Anthony. So you can use Norm and CJ to get some help in the front court. I think the solution right now is to build around a Dame and Simons backcourt, and then use CJ, Norm, Rocco, Nance, Nas even, and maybe even Nurkic to try and surround Dame and Simons with the best possible defensive front court. because those guys are going to be below average defensively. You have to get them enough help to make them a good enough defense. And you have to get guys in the front court who will set the tone defensively. You know, we need a guy who's a little bit of an asshole who will get on his teammates if they're slacking on that end. You know, we're not getting a Draymond Green, but we need that type of personality. All right, we need somebody that will set the tone defensively in one of the front court spots. So I think that's kind of the point that I'm at in regards to building this roster.
Yep. Completely agree. And AJ asked, well, what kind of stuff could we do with those picks if we got picks? Well, let's say we did trade Norm for 2 firsts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then if we got a first in either a Rocco or a Nurk trade, or maybe for both of them, or somehow get our first back or whatever, then all of a sudden we have the 2 Cleveland trades, the first and the first we get in the Rocco trade, and that's 3 firsts we could attach to a CJ to get basically any star making a max contract. So you're talking CJ and 3 firsts and 3 first round swaps is what apparently was offered for Ben Simmons to begin with. So it doesn't have to be for Ben Simmons, but then you're in the ballpark in a negotiation where all of a sudden you're coming to the table with CJ and 3 firsts, and it doesn't really affect our future that much because we've got picks from other teams. This is a situation where you use those picks then to attach to CJ to get who you want to get. But I would not like give up, because in order to get like a Jerami Grant, if we were to get first without trading like anyone of significance, say we just traded like Rocco out or whatever it took to make the contracts work, like our expiring contracts, we'd have to find a way to get first round picks or young players to attach. So then you're talking about either attaching Ant and Nas to that trade, or you're talking about having to find a way to unprotect our first round pick we owe Chicago this year so we can trade future picks. And I don't like either of those 2 paths. So I would much rather go after young guys and guys who Billups can mold. But
Romp just came in here. Romp's a Sixers fan. He says Morey will only accept 15 pick swaps, nothing below or he hangs up.
I know, but that's why I said it didn't have to be for Ben Simmons, because Morey's an idiot.
Yeah, and Rob definitely agrees with that. I mean, here's the thing. If he's willing to come down to CJ and 3 firsts, and you can get 2 firsts back for Norm, and then that's a situation where I would trade CJ, Norm into first for Ben Simmons. Absolutely, because as I said, you need to surround Damon Simons with the best defensive front court. If you can trade CJ and Norm into first and get Simmons, you're off to a really good start there. Now you have to fill the other 2 spots. You still have Nurkic, so maybe you roll with Simmons and Nurkic. You just need a really good defensive forward, somebody that's better than Robert Covington has been this year. You know, that's not necessarily easy to find. But yeah, I mean, that's a good start to trying to put together the right sort of team around Damon Simons.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I've been arguing something else in chat, which is ridiculous.
Romp, I can't wait for the video on February 11th. I want you to have a fire YouTube video that's just like you ranting for 5 minutes after Morey decides to keep Ben Simmons and not trade him this year and screw up Embiid's possible best season ever.
Yeah, well, I want to, for the trade deadline stream this year, I want to be able to bring on, and maybe we'll have to do it through Zoom in order to do this, but I want to bring on Romp if the Sixers make the trade, if Romp is available. I want Romp's like instant emotional reaction, right? Like bring in, and Romp the Sixers fan, and if the Suns make a trade, bring in Gabe for a good 5 to 10 minutes and talk about that trade, because we do cover every trade that's made, and it is a pretty long stream with lulls in the action and whatnot. So Romp, that offer is out there. That is a permanent invite in case your Sixers do something to come guest on our poppin' trade deadline stream. It's always popping. So
if you were Daryl Morey, would you trade Ben Simmons, Corey? You wouldn't trade him? Oh, okay. She wouldn't trade him either, so I guess.
She's just like Daryl Morey. Okay. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, don't let Romp hear that. Romp says I got you, but they won't. Yeah, the trade deadline stream is always fun. I want to know, chat, for those of you, don't vote if you haven't tuned into all three, okay? Which I know you might still, and just disregard what I say, which is disrespectful, but whatever. If you've tuned in to all three of our big streams each year, I want to know which one is the best, or which one you enjoyed the most, just in terms of like the production and everything that happens, not necessarily, oh, I enjoy the draft stream because we drafted Nasir Little and that was fun. No, just in terms of like the whole experience, which stream out of the big three do you think is the best? I'm going to make a chat poll for that because I'm curious. Best big three stream.
I like free agency because there's sometimes there's trades and sometimes there's signings. But it's a lot of waiting around for stuff to happen too.
Yeah. Free agency takes yeah. Free agency is the most taxing, I would say. The draft is fun because it has a really good flow to it.
And then I go to the bathroom, and then Norm Powell signs.
The second you leave to go to the bathroom. Derek Jones Jr. Free agency and trade deadline. I honestly, my favorite might be the draft, because there's just nowhere near as much angst to it. You know what I mean? And it's fun to talk about prospects. That's just my personal preference. Right now, you got 68% of the people saying free agency, so they enjoy the free agency stream. If I was a streamer, I'd probably choose free agency too.
I like the trade deadline just because there's...
Yeah.
It's not like... I don't know. Some years it sucks because there's not much that happens. A couple guys get traded for second-round picks. Mm-hmm. But it seems like every year it gets... Like, there's some major moves that are made, and it's always kind of a surprise. It's not... Because, for the most part, kind of free agents, they're going to sign that day, or they're not, or they're picking between these 5 teams or whatever. We kind of know what free agents we have a shot at, whereas the draft, or the trade deadline, there's always some surprises. Like us trading for Norm last year.
Yeah. Giadu Reeves says, Tory emotional reaction to Derek Jones Jr. made that stream great. I think that's the most famous clip, or the most well-known moment of any stream we've ever had.
The hat throw.
Yeah.
Derek Srouer mentions the Pistons and signing 70 centers.
Yeah. People are talking about how the draft is always leaked. We know what pick is coming. That's why you get off Twitter and watch our stream, because we don't leak it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We don't leak picks. And honestly, draft day, Eric, is when we need our mods the most, because it's a rule in our chat on draft day that you cannot leak picks in chat. You can't talk about picks until they're made on our live stream. So we always have to enforce that rule in our chat. But yeah, we did a lot of cool things graphically last year for the draft that I really enjoyed. I don't know how we can really one-up it, because our graphics were insane. It's just, dude, it's we got 3 big streams a year, but 2 of them come in a week. And then trade deadline's the only one outside of that, so...
Well, we can one-up it by actually having picks for the Blazers this year.
Yeah.
Because that was the downer of last year. I mean, I know we traded for Greg Brown, but we didn't go into the draft with a pick, so it was kind of hard to get into scouting as much as I am this year, because we had no real avenue of getting a high pick in the draft.
Couple things in chat. Jackson says, big streams are my favorite because I get to yell at people, LOL. And Zach says same. That's funny. AJ says, Literally, what does Woj get out of leaking draft picks? Like, wow, 3 seconds before it's announced, so cool. Yeah, I don't understand why he does that, man. It doesn't make sense. It's like a competition between him and Shams. I don't know. It's strange to me. What do you get the most viewers on?
I think
it's a question.
It's a case where the television broadcast is delayed slightly, so like a lot of people in the know already know who they picked at the time. So I think Woj is just being the real-time draft versus the TV draft.
Is it really that delayed though?
Because
he'll break it like 5 minutes before sometimes.
I think it is, because like sometimes the picks get like backed up and Silver kind of drags it out for TV, but
yeah. There was a question, which one gets the most viewers in terms of like our big 3 streams?
I think it's like if there was a big trade, like the Roku stream popped.
Yeah, the Roku stream was popping. I'm just looking at my most popular, or our most popular videos / streams, and the most popular one is 2020 NBA free agency, which wasn't last year. It was 2 free agencies ago. That had 49K. It's almost a 50K. I've been waiting for it to hit 50K. I'll get like 30 views a month, and I just want it to hit 50K just because that's a nice number. Second is the Roku trade. Third is the 2021 NBA trade deadline. That got 29K. Fourth is a Darius Baisley draft profile that I made right when I started the channel. Fifth is Nasir Little has all-star potential. Made right when I started the channel. Stuff was popping when I started the channel. I don't know what the deal was. I think it's, because I started off fast because I had some viewers from Trailblazer fan that came over, and because I started off so fast, it just recommended my videos a lot. Sixth is 2021 NBA free agency. Seventh is the Hassan Whiteside trade, Eric. I don't know if... No, that was a video. We didn't even react to that live, like right after it happened. Eighth was Paul Gasol signing with the Blazers. That was a 4-minute video. Ninth was the 2021 NBA draft. And then 10th was Evan Turner for Kent Bazemore trade reaction.
Yeah.
So that's the top 10 videos. Stotts is fired is like 15th, unfortunately. Yeah, and then our biggest post-game stream was the Blazers losing Game 5 when Dame dropped 55. That was our biggest post-game stream.
Mm-hmm.
When the Nuggets beat us in OT. So, to answer that question, 55% said free agency, 33% said trade, 12% said draft. Anyway, I'm just reading chat. That's why there's the dead air.
Yeah. Draft is fun, but I kind of agree with that. I love the trade deadline, though.
Yeah, so be ready for the trade deadline. The stream will be popping as always. Krish, we gotta scheme up what we're gonna do graphically this year. I want to know if you have any cool ideas. Because this past... Wait, Krish's first stream was the trade deadline, right? The trade deadline last year, I think, was the first stream that Krish helped us with.
I don't remember, yeah.
Was that it, Krish? Is Krish still in here?
No, I remember he said he was going to play basketball.
Yeah, but then he came back, and he was talking about Norm. So, you see, there's devil emojis in the chat from Krish right now. My first stream was the draft. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I thought it was the trade deadline last year, so we'll have to figure out what we're going to come up with, because now, like, Krish has been doing post-game graphics, like... I think you have a pretty good feel for some of like the concepts I've used, Krish, and some of the ways that I have to do things with my streaming software. So I'm curious to see what you come up with, or what we come up with. If you have any ideas, let me know. We should start scheming that. It's only like a month. Yeah, it's a month from today. It's on February 10th. Today is January 10th. So a month from today, we'll have a trade deadline stream. That'll be fun. Anyway, Eric, anything else you want to say for the stream?
Nope. Everyone enjoy the game, and we'll be back later this evening.
Yep, we'll catch you with the post-game show after Blazers versus Nets. We'll see how this one goes. Shout out to Sherwin Ignacio for the dono he dropped earlier. We appreciate it. And thank you to everybody for making us a part of your Monday afternoon. Hopefully you'll make us a part of your Monday night later tonight. Hopefully that will be a fun post-game stream. You know, even if the Blazers lose, I just want to see Anthony continue to pop off how he has been. So we'll talk more potential traits on the post-game show as usual. Anyway, Beavis is very confused. Wait, there's a game tonight? Yes, it's the rescheduled game from December 23rd. Blazers Nets tonight, tipping off at 7 p.m. Correct, Dirk?
Yep.
Cool. 7 p.m. tip off tonight. Anyway, we're out of here. We will catch you later. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.